Pull up a chair, fill up a plate. Come over early, you gonna stay late. Ain't nothing better than music and friends. It's gatherings and guitars.
In this week's episode of Gatherings and Guitars, Jennifer and Rick sit down to continue their story of how Old Quail Run Farm came to be. They talk about the events that led them to where they are today and what their vision is moving forward. It's episode 6 of Gatherings and Guitars.
So we're back, and thanks for joining us again. If you want to follow along with our little story and how we got to Old Quail Run Farm and how we got to this place at 50-something years old together.
Early 50s.
And this crazy, beautiful, wonderful life that we have here at Old Quail Run Farm that we share with so many people and
love it.
And
love sharing it.
Yeah. We love sharing the farm with our community, with the music community, and people from all over the country. We've had so many cool, amazing people fly in, drive in, bring their RVs to come to concerts and dinners here. It's been such a fun avenue of, as I've said for years, creating a long table. And I just want to keep making my table longer and bigger to host anyone and everyone that wants to come be a part of the magic here.
When I think about it, I think we've touched just about all four corners of the U.S. I know we've had people from Oregon that have been here.
California.
We've had people from Washington State, Florida. One of our first ones, we had some...
Pennsylvania this last
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Concert
we had
before last.
Some people fly in from Chicago, and one of our first ones, I think for Leroy, we had somebody fly in from...
Excuse me.
You all right? You need some water? This happens a lot.
Me.
I've got some water if you
I'm
need
good.
some. Okay. So yeah, it has been neat seeing people come from all over the country, and that's mainly. Some of it. The last one was actually to come see Old Quail Run Farm, and because of Gatherings and Guitars.
Yeah.
But
the book is definitely widening our scope of audience.
But it's also refreshing to see as we bring these artists in, the love that people still have for them all around the country, and they'll travel, get on a plane and fly 3 or 4 hours to see an artist that they love from the 90s. And even some of these Red Dirt artists, with Mile Zero Fest, draws a lot of people from all over the country, and it's mainly Texas-focused artists, but there's still, the Red Dirt extends to Alabama. There's a lot of good groups from Alabama and Mississippi.
Of course.
Oklahoma,
it's Oklahoma.
So it's nice to see the fan base is very, very wide for these artists. And if you've ever been to a concert here, one of the things that many times I'll say is and we tell all the artists this, we want the artist to enjoy this venue and the show as much as the audience. And so that's very important for us, that we make the artists feel at home. And we believe that provides a more intimate concert and setting for everybody involved.
Yeah.
When the artists can feel comfortable and they know they have the attention of the crowd. And that's a great thing that we have here is when people come to Old Quail Run Farm, they're coming to hear the artist. And so it's usually a really, really good crowd, respectful crowd. And we're really, really proud about that and about the people that come and join us for these gatherings.
Yeah, these gatherings. So we left off last time at, where did we leave off?
We had just gotten married and had a kid, I think.
And I had a band, Stealing Hearts.
Yep.
And we were traveling Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and
Texas. We came down here and did some shows.
Yes, we did shows in Texas. And so it was time for Ricky and his career to move. And we moved to London, Kentucky. And after that move, and after we got settled, Stacy, my sister, was still here in Texas. from Sherman. Her and her husband lived here, and we felt that we wanted to continue this Steel and Hearts journey at that point, and we wanted to really focus in on songwriting and being in Nashville and trying to make connections in Nashville. And so she came up and we got an apartment in Nashville. At this point, we have Hayden, who is about a year old.
When we moved, he was 5 months when we moved.
Yeah.
And
but we got our apartment in Nashville when he was about a year old. And
Yeah.
Michael, Stacy's oldest, was about a year older than Hayden.
Yeah,
Is that right?
2.5.
Yeah, somewhere in there. And so she and I just kind of navigated the mom thing, and husband's on the weekend, and we're in Nashville during the week trying to, we set up showcases and did a lot of writing. And
But the whole way that started is kind of a neat deal too. We've been very fortunate. We are very faith-based people, and God has put people in our lives every step of the way that has helped us move along. And when we moved to Nashville, or when we moved to Kentucky,
Yeah.
I was working for Walmart Distribution. You were going to teach. You went to the music store there.
I did.
And the guy gave you a job right off the bat, teaching, started giving you students.
piano and voice, yeah.
But the other person that worked there, and this is another
Two guys.
circle there that's
Two guys
crazy.
worked there. Yeah.
One of them was Keith Whitley's best friend growing up and his lead guitar player his entire career. You watch any Keith Whitley videos, you're going to see Randy in the background, long redheaded guy. And then Joe was actually, Joe Hampton was with
Merle Haggard.
Merle Haggard and for years. And those two guys went with y'all to Nashville the first time and played with y'all.
They did quite a few showcases with us and introduced us to a lot of people, and yeah, very, very sweet guys, and kind of helped Stacy and I navigate some of the ins and outs of Nashville, because it's, especially back then, there was no social media. There was no, I mean, it was, it's who you know, and it's putting your time in, and it's no one really, you could barely name anyone in the 90s who was an overnight success. Everyone had put in years and years of writing and playing the clubs and doing all the things before, they made it. So we were putting our heads down, we were writing, we were recording. We recorded a full album in Nashville the next year and just decided to try to shop that around, and we went open for some really cool guys and did some amazing showcases and just had a lot of buzz and a lot of fun and got to meet a lot of really cool people and write with really cool people. And Addison Ellis was key in helping us during that time. At the time, he was playing lead guitar for Mila Mason. Yeah, we got to be backstage at Grand Ole Opry while Mila was there, and just really, really amazing couple of years. But in the end, honestly, Stacy and I just both decided that we truly wanted to be wives and mamas first. And while music had always been such a huge part of our life, and still to this day remains a huge part of our life, we just really felt like it was time to let that go and to focus on our families and put that first. And I think if we, had not made that decision at that time when we did, that we would most likely not be sitting here.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
Definitely. And we may not have the kids we have.
Yeah.
Because after that's when we started. We had Hayden, but then we had Gracie in 99 and Lucas in 2000.
Yeah.
And while we were in Kentucky, we were in Texas, but had just moved.
Yeah. So Ricky's
Dallas.
job moved us around. We moved to Texas. We moved back to Arkansas for a number of years, and then landed here in Texas in
2010. I moved in
2010.
2010 when the the recession hit in 2008 to 2010. A lot of different job changes and stuff, and we knew probably 2005 or 2006. We were living in Arkansas, and we came down here once again. Stacy, her sister, and Andy, they lived here, and we came down quite a bit. Spent a lot of time with them, and I'll never forget. We were taking a ride at the farm on a 4-wheeler and stopped one, and said, we both felt, hey, we really want to live here someday.
Yeah.
We just need to be open to living here someday soon. And, or not soon. We thought it could be.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be years down the road.
Yeah, 15, 20 years maybe.
Yeah.
Because we were mid-30s at that time. And lo and behold, 2010 hit. And I found a job down here in trucking. And we moved. So
yeah,
that was a big change for us because we had gotten very settled in our life. We'd been back in Arkansas for 7 or 8 years then, and back with a lot of the people we grew up with, and loved it there. I mean, Fort Smith was awesome. They have 4 seasons of weather.
Yes,
And,
we do miss the topography and the seasons of Fort Smith, very much so. And
But God
it's just beautiful up there.
God had a lot bigger plan for us here in Texas. So
Yeah.
moved here in 2010, 2011.
Now, a word from our sponsors.
The Meat Board, a specialty butcher shop for premium meat, seafood, and a craft deli for noontime sandwiches and salads. At the Meat Board, we focus on providing premium, strategically sourced meats and great service. From ranch to your table, we deliver a truly worthy experience. The Meat Board, Fort Worth, Texas.
Now back to the show.
And then we lived in town, and then we found, Ricky and I decided, when we lived in Kentucky, in Arkansas and in Kentucky, we redid 4 different 100-year-old houses
Yeah.
throughout our marriage at that point. And so we had been in Texas
But
now.
we only did wallpaper one day in one bathroom, and then we realized we're never doing wallpaper together again.
Wallpapering again together.
And that's before we could hire somebody to do wallpaper. So
Listen, we did
a lot of stuff,
so much on our own.
a lot of sweat equity into everything
lot
that
of
we did.
sweat equity. But I love old homes, have always loved the project. And so we decided in 2000, what year was it that we started looking for a project?
Oh gosh, that was, well, I got to go backwards from when we moved in here and bought this. So it was around 2014.
Because we moved in here when?
We bought it August of 15
I
and
wouldn't
moved
know.
in March of 16.
Okay, so in 15, we decided we wanted to do another project. We hadn't done one in several years, and we're looking more for our forever home. And so we had made offers on several properties, and
most of them had been in town. We weren't.
Yeah.
We knew we always wanted to live out, but there was nothing really at that point in time that we were finding.
Yeah, he was traveling with business, and one morning I opened up Zillow, and this property came up 6 a.m. that day, and it had hit the market, and he was out of town, and I called my sister, who's a real estate agent, and said, I want to go look at this property. And she was like, I don't think you do. She was like, Jennifer, that's a 1,600 square foot, really old house. That's, I just don't know about that. And I said, I just want to go look at it because I knew the location of it was really, really good. It was between Mom and Stacy, where she lived, and I just said, let's just go look. I can see a diamond in the rough. Let's just go make sure. And she and my dad and I all drove out here. We met. We pulled into the driveway. I didn't even get out of the car, and I looked at Stacy and I said, "This is it. We're there. This is it." And she was like, "You think?" I said, "Yeah, I really think." And so the 3 of us come inside and look at this little house, and I immediately just envisioned what it could be and what it could look like. And I called Rick and I said, I really think this is it. And it's 16 acres. It's a 1,600 square foot house. He was like, are you
yeah.
sure? And I said, yeah, I think we should make an offer. And we did. Within 2 hours, made an offer. And by the end of that day, there were 8 showings booked for the next day for this house. And so they took our offer that evening, and we got this house. And it took us 10 months.
Yeah.
Took us 10 months. We moved in with Mom and Dad, and Dad was going to act as general contractor. And we began the journey of tearing the house apart down to its wonderful bones.
To what you see. I don't know if you can see it in this, but
the walls. And we took the original little 4-square house. That's what they used to call it, which 4 square means this. When it was originally built, this room that we're sitting in was a master bedroom, a office type room, a kitchen, and a living room.
area.
Yeah. And so now it's just our kitchen living, but yeah, so Dad and I started with construction. Ricky was on the road a lot with work, and but on weekends, every Sunday we would come and do construction cleanup. We would pull nails out of the ceiling.
And our kids were in high school age, junior high school.
They thought I was crazy.
We made them come.
They
and
were
help.
not happy about
They
this.
put a lot of sweat equity into it.
Yeah.
And then, after a couple of months, there was out back. Some of y'all have heard this before, but there's an old wooden bench underneath some trees that's about 40, 50 yards behind the house. And so Sunday afternoons we'd go out there. Jennifer would go. I'd see her sitting out there, and many times I'd go sit with her, and she would look back at the house as we were starting to remodel it, and she would, she called it her vision bench. And at first it wasn't bad. I mean, it was things that we were doing to the house. And then after we got the house done, she still went back there and sat. And she had more visions, and we started doing more things. And then I said, okay, this bench is getting kind of expensive. I may have to burn it. But
Yeah, you need to stay off the bench for a while.
But I totally believe, those Sunday afternoons sitting on that bench, those visions that we had, and then I started having some too. You can just see things, and if you're open to what the Spirit leading you, and we saw things and we envisioned things, and that is truly has led us to where we are today. Had we not built the pads the way that we did, had we not said let's do a dinner, a farm to table dinner out here, all those things led to where we are today.
Yeah.
And then God said, you know what? That barn up front, that old metal barn that you're storing stuff in, that's used to store stuff in, let's use it for something.
Yeah.
And so we had a farm to table dinner. We had a 2-night. It was our first one, 2 nights. The first night was out on the pad. It was beautiful. And then the second night it rained. And so we had to move everything inside. And we didn't have the room inside. So we improvised, and we ended up serving 50 people underneath our carport. There were some sitting in the carport at tables, and then some sitting in our
house,
our great room. And we shoved everything into our bedroom and closed the doors, all the furniture, to set up tables. So then after that, next week, she says, okay, we got to do something. We're going to take
clean
this.
the barn out.
Let's clean the barn out. And I was like, what? No, that's my barn. It's for my boat, the tractors. That's what a barn's for. No, let's put rock in here. And so we turned that barn into a small event space, and wow, the memories, and the events. And then we said, let's have a concert here, and I said, it's all metal, it's going to sound horrible. And Danny Beavers, who we got to give a shout out to, Danny Beavers. The first night we had a concert in there, the acoustics were just amazing.
They're perfect.
Absolutely
They're
amazing.
absolutely perfect.
So-
Every artist that plays in there always comments, and I love creating video just from my phone out on the gravel going into the barn, because the acoustics are so perfect in that little tiny barn. It's wonderful. So,
But
let's wrap that up, because we have so much more to talk about, but I think that's all we can delve into today. So yeah, that's kind of, I think we've gotten to here. Now we're going to have to go a little deeper into that. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's how we got to Old Quail Run Farm. So thanks so much for joining us today and listening to our ramblings and our memories of how we got to this point with Gatherings and Guitars. So thanks for joining us.
Pull up a chair, fill up a plate, come over early, you gon' stay late. Ain't nothing better than music and friends. It's gatherings and guitars.